All right, we're both laughing. You're looking live. Charlie Marlow, Kenny Wallace, Daytona 500 just ended. What a crazy finish. A guy basically, we weren't talking about the entire race, even though he won it last year. William Byron escapes all of that craziness to go back to back in the great American race, Herm.
Charlie, people ask me all the time, who's going to win the Daytona 500? I said, you might as well go to a casino, go to the roulette wheel. There's 36 numbers, and then there's 2 green numbers. That's 38. I said, spin a roulette wheel, because William Byron running about 12th to 15th, and the leaders all wrecked, and you look up, and there's William Byron. Was he in position to win the race? No, he was not. But there's an old saying, if you're in it, you can win it. And Charlie, William Byron, we've had him on Kenny Conversation. We're lucky. We had William Byron on Kenny Conversation a week after he won the last Daytona 500. But it's official. Charlie, William Byron etches his name in the record books. He is a 2-time Daytona 500 winner. And oh my God, this race had it all. Where do we start, Charlie?
Well, that was going to be my question. This final wreck on the final lap. I'm in my office here without a TV, and I tried to watch it. And you saw Custer and Hamlin there, and then William Byron escapes it. How about we start with this? How about we start with the 15 to go? Because I feel like that was the big one. And also we have a bunch of drivers that did interviews with Regan Smith afterwards talking about it. So basically, Logano's pushing, Ricky Stenhouse about 15 to go, throws the late block. But then it looked like Logano tried to get in there again. What did you see?
Okay, everybody, we're going to go to the juice right away. All right, this is my opinion, okay? I watched a replay 2 times of Joey Logano, okay, and Ricky Stenhouse. Here's what I see. I see 2 stubborn guys that are aggressive, and they're winners. You can make fun of Ricky Stenhouse and Joey Logano all you want. The bottom line is Ricky Stenhouse is a winner. Joey Logano is a 3-time champion. So make fun of all you want, but they're always going for it. So here's the way I broke that wreck down. Okay, Logano's got to run. He turns left. Ricky goes to block it. And you clearly see and you clearly hear Joey Logano lets off the gas. I mean, he lets off the gas. That's all there's to it. And then there's a little bit of gap, and it appears that Joey Logano's frustrated, like he's trying to wiggle his way in there. But watch what I watched, everybody. The 4 of Noah Gragson is pushing Joey Logano into it more. Now, there's a couple replays. The replay that I saw, you kind of got to look at the roof of the 4 car, because there's not a real good replay of it. Now, they interviewed Joey Logano. That's the way I see it. I see 2 great racers, and I think of the Ayrton Senna, the great Formula 1 driver. 15 laps ago, Daytona 500, you see a gap and you don't go for it. So I see Logano go for the gap. I see Stenhouse close the gap. And then you clearly see Logano come way out of the gas. You see the flames. You hear the in-car camera. Then he gets back in the gas. And now the 4 doesn't get to him immediately. There's a delay. Now the 4 is pushing him. And that's what happens. So, I saw that, and I know all of you want to blame somebody on that wreck. I get it. But, it's not that. Look, if I thought Joey Logano said, I'm just going to wreck it, he can't wreck everybody because he's got to win the race. But that's what I saw. I saw at the end there, the 4 coming in, and then it was just a pile of potatoes after that. But, man, I'll tell you what, Charlie, let me say this. Here's the difference in these Daytona 500s. They ride, they save the gas mileage. We see what they're doing. They're saving gas, and they figured out, okay, we only need 4 seconds of gas. This is the new thing now. Everybody watched it, right? They got the laptop, right? The guy comes into pit stop, and he puts up a laptop, and the laptop says 4.5 seconds, and the laptop is yellow, and he's got it right in front of the driver's windshield. And when it goes down to 0 seconds and it goes green, the driver takes off. This is new. This is a new deal. So now these guys are playing this fuel game because whoever takes less fuel takes less time on pit road. And now that the fuel is over, Charlie, no more fuel game. That's what we got. Everybody's like, they're saving fuel. And then all of a sudden, nobody's saving fuel anymore. Now we're wide open. And now we're trying to win the Daytona 500. Let me just say this, Charlie. What a race. What a race. I mean, NASCAR still has the best start in 20 years. And let me say this. I keep having things to say, Charlie. My last thing. And we got a lot more to go. They got lucky with the rain because, I mean, it's 8:45, but that race was over at, say, 8:35 in St. Louis. So the Daytona 500 gets 4 hours rain delay. It comes on in prime time. It's over at 8:35. It's 9:35 in Charlotte. Hell, it's even earlier in California. Mm-hmm. So all's well that it ends well. So the 4 hour rain delay actually put this Daytona 500 in prime time. So NASCAR's got to be smiling.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the ratings there. So I haven't heard from Ricky Stenhouse yet. I don't have the TV in front of me, but we did hear from Logano. We heard from Kyle Busch. Logano didn't seem very pissed. And I mean, he was upset, obviously. He didn't really blame Ricky Stenhouse. I'm sure some people are blaming Ricky Stenhouse. Some people are blaming Joey Logano. Some people are saying, hey, it's just racing. It's 15 laps to go at the end of the Daytona 500. But obviously, you probably saw Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch was not happy, and he certainly did blame Joey Logano. He said something like, hey, it was the fastest car basically trying to get to the wreck, the fastest car trying to jam in there. So the 8 car, Kyle Busch, going for his first Daytona 500 win in his 20th try. He was obviously upset, but he did blame Joey Logano.
So, Charlie, emotions are an all-time high. You got here's the scenario. Joey Logano, not very many people like him. Okay, number one. Number two, he wins 3 championships. They're mad at him for winning the 3rd one, and he's got the fastest car. Now you got the villain, who is Kyle Busch. This is like WWE, right? The villain is Kyle Busch for so many years, and he goes winless last year, and everybody's like, oh, they feeling sorry for Kyle Busch now. They're feeling sorry for Kyle Busch now. Kyle Busch is kind of like a Dale. Okay, calm down, everybody. Kyle Busch is not Dale Sr., but it's got that feel. 20 years. He keeps trying. He's always in the top 5 and gets wrecked out. So, Charlie, the fans are feeling bad for the villain, and the villain is Kyle Busch. This is a scenario of Kyle Busch, who was the bad guy one time. Now everybody's loving because he's 39 years old. He's getting of age. He went win. They're feeling sorry for him. But in the end, it was just a damn wreck, and I broke it down. And, man, what an outcome. You never know who's going to win this Daytona 500. Let me say this. Charlie, do you got the rundown?
I got it. For it right there. People in the comments said that Junior got a top 10 with Allgaier. Was he 9th, I believe?
Yeah. Let me go ahead and read it. I usually look for you to read this, Charlie, but I got it right here. I got the top 20, everybody. William Byron wins his 2nd Daytona 500 back-to-back. Tyler Reddick, he runs 2nd, and that's good for Michael Jordan. Look at this. Jimmy Johnson, the 7-time champion, was hanging out in the back, literally, and then finally got it on. He runs 3rd. Our pole sitter, Chase Briscoe, finishes 4th. John Hunter Nemechek finishes 5th. Alex Bowman 6th. Ryan Blaney totally destroyed, wrecked out. They fix his nose. He comes back, finishes 7th. Cindric 8th, and there it is. The feel-good story. In 9th, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car, Justin Allgaier finishes 9th. Chris Buescher 10th. Okay, Chris Buescher 10th. Take a little breath here. Take a little drink of water. In 11th, how about that? Michael McDowell finishes 11th. Daniel Suarez 12th, Eric Jones 13th, Ty Dillon, who I thought was a good runner. He was multiple laps down, but he comes back to finish 14th. Chase Elliott 15th. Riley Herbst, he was, is that his name, Riley Herbst?
Yep.
Yeah, Riley Herbst was 16th, and he was trying to push Denny Hamlin to the win there, so he wrecks out, gets 16th. Ricky Stenhouse 17th, Ty Gibbs 18th, Justin Haley 19th, and Kyle Larson 20th. So everybody, that's your top 20.
So what did you think of the final lap wreck? It looked like Cole Custer also was just trying to jam it in there against Denny Hamlin. And then also, I've seen some people saying they're glad that they didn't throw the caution there and they let William Byron run till the end. You think that was the right call for sure?
I like the call. Okay, I'm going to go back. I know what everybody's going to say. Everybody's going to say that they should have thrown the caution. But hear me out. Hear me out. If they would have thrown the caution, your winner would still have been William Byron.
Mm-hmm.
Stop and think about it, everybody.
Yeah.
Stop and think about it. If they would have thrown the caution, William Byron was still out front. And if they would have thrown the caution, Tyler Reddick was still second. So let's calm down, everybody. I'm with you. Hold on. I'm with you. Why didn't they throw the caution? Well, because the wreck happened and everybody, it was done. And they're coming to the start-finish line, and you would have had to go on 2 more miles to run into the wreck, and they knew that wasn't going to happen. So I hear you. I'm with you. But I don't care. It was the right call. It was the right call. So I'm going to give it to you. Let's say you all want to say they should have thrown the caution. Well, if they throw the caution, the top 5 still the top 5. Maybe, who was it? Somebody got by the 19 at the end. I think Jimmy Johnson might have got 100. Okay, John Hunter Nitmachek might have got by Briscoe during that wreck, but I studied that. So once again, everybody, I'm going to say it for the 3rd time. I'll give you the caution. Throw it. Top 5, still the top 5. So it looked clean. Thank God. I predicted this race to end under caution. It didn't, but we still got a hell of a Daytona 500. And Charlie, you want me to say what I think about that last wreck. Number 1, I'm very happy that Ryan Preece is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, there's DC 322. Yes, you're exactly right, DC 322. Ryan Preece had the big wreck last year. Very happy. And Ryan Preece said when he was in the air and it got silent, Charlie, he said, I thought about my kid for a minute.
His daughter, yep.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Very, very scary. And listen, that last wreck was nobody's fault. I mean, you're coming to the checkered flag and everybody's wide open. And, Denny did what he thought he needed to do. Listen, Denny Hamlin's a 3-time Daytona 500 winner. It's easy to say he should have went high. Come on, everybody. That's bar talk. That's when you're at the bar. He should have went high, while we're sitting on our asses. But so happy Ryan Preece is okay.
Yeah, what did you think of his comments? Not just talking about his daughter, but then after that, he said, "Hey, look, we gotta change something, or otherwise, the next time somebody's not going to be able to be walking out of the car after a flip like that." And he's kind of become unfortunately the flipping guy, right? He did it last year. Yeah,
it's sad to say. Now, here's what I say. Let me give you a history lesson. When brother Rusty Wallace was getting into all these wrecks and hurting himself, he flipped at Daytona in 1993, flipped at Talladega the same year. Well, Rusty started saying, guys, we're going to kill ourselves. Well, then I heard other drivers going, oh, Wallace is getting scared. Let me tell you, when you wreck as much as Ryan Preece has wrecked at Daytona, if you don't start getting a little timid, you're not normal. So there's Ryan Preece 2 years in a row with the worst wreck you could ever wreck. flipping end over end, violent. But in a weird way, as scary as it looks, those are the easiest wrecks. The wrecks that kill you, sadly, are the ones that Dale Earnhardt Sr. had. That's when you hit the wall really hard. When you hit that wall really hard, that's what kills you, because your brain is floating in liquid. When your brain floats in liquid, you hit the wall, your brain smashes up against your skull, and that's what happened to Dale Sr. So, listen, Ryan Preece said all the right stuff. If you don't say I was seeing my kid and something's got to be done, you're not normal. So, you got to give Ryan Preece a break. You can't act like you want to kill yourself. That's crazy talk.
So you said earlier that NASCAR got lucky with it becoming a primetime race. I'm wondering though, because early on, I mean, man, you're thinking again, can they catch a break with? They already started the race an hour early because of the forecast. Then they run 11 laps, whatever it is. Then there's about a 3 hour and 10-minute rain delay, whatever it is. They go out there and run under caution and don't even run a lap. But luckily that second rain delay, it was only about 25, 30 minutes. And then once they got back, hey, it's a night race. It's all good. And the ending, I know you saved some fuel for a while, but hell, if you look at the last 3 wrecks, I mean, if you're looking for excitement, the last 25 laps to go, whatever it was freaking awesome.
Charlie, let me address the rain deal first. We're not perfect, but when I say this, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. They moved the Daytona 500 up 1 hour. If they don't move it up 1 hour, nothing happens. There's no introduction. There's no pit bull. There's no President Trump landing. So just remember that. I think people lose their mind and they like to talk negative, and they're like, oh, well, they changed the time and Trump landed. That's why it's people. You're thinking way wrong. They moved the Daytona 500 up 1 hour. That way we got everything in. Then they went 6 laps and it rained. Then they went a little bit more and it was lap 11 where they said, okay, pull them down Parrott Road. So, yeah, I mean, I understand everybody wanting things to be the way they want. You can convince anybody to agree with you. They did that for Trump. It's like people. You can tell when somebody's a Democrat. It's like it had nothing to do with anything. It was a wonderful move because they got everything in. And here in St. Louis, Missouri, at 8:30 at night, we have a Daytona 500 that went all the way. And so, okay, then the second one, Charlie, asked me that one again about the end there. I just saw what really caused that last wreck.
Okay, so you're talking about on the final lap or with 5 to go?
On the final lap.
Final lap, so that was Custer, right? Kind of pushing Denny Hamlin?
Yep, but he was not the one that made all hell break loose.
Okay.
Once again, nobody's fault. As I watched the very last wreck, what happened was Custer goes to push Denny and says, to hell with it. I'm going to try to win it. And he pulls out to make it 3 wide. It was Chase Briscoe in the 19 car. Hit Denny so hard that it turned Denny into Austin Cindric. So if everybody wants to get down to the nitty gritty and watch the replay, what caused the very last wreck is it wasn't Cole Custer. I just watched the replay 30 seconds ago, and it was Chase Briscoe. He did nothing wrong, but he knocked the hell out of Denny Hamlin, and that put Denny, into Austin Cindric. But, listen, this Daytona 500 had it all. Okay, let me see here, Charlie. Doug Schoenfeld. Take a breather here, everybody.
Yeah, I'm trying to read the finishing order again because it's funny. Because when you read that off to me, so here we go. Obviously, Byron wins. Reddick second. Jimmy Johnson third. Chase Briscoe fourth. John Hunter Nemechek fifth. Now, clearly, Chase Briscoe was your pole sitter, but it's funny because as I'm watching, you see William Byron win, and then I'm getting ready to run in here to start the show, And so I didn't really know who was second, third, fourth, fifth. And it's kind of funny because when you started to read off the names, it's like, that's basically 4 or 5 guys you didn't mention once the entire night. But that's so Daytona, because after 3 wrecks and you clear out whatever it is, 5, 10, 15 cars that are running up front, it's some guys at the end that you don't talk about, but they had the luck of the draw and they get a top 5.
Charlie, that's Daytona.
Yeah.
That is Daytona. Here's the difference. Years ago, we could cheat, and these teams could show up and they'd have an advantage. And their car, listen, it used to be 70-30, 80-20. Years ago, it used to be 70%, 80% car. Everybody says that. Everybody. That's not my opinion. So you could get away from people. Years ago, Dale Earnhardt Jr. won the Daytona 500 like by himself. He just passed Tony Stewart, and like we were happy. You know what I mean? You could get away from people back in the day because you could handcraft your car. Now the rules are so tight that's why you might as well go to the roulette table. Like I say, everybody's learning it. When somebody says who's going to win the Daytona 5, I had Logano, and I said Joey Logano was going to win, and I was looking good. Okay, just a quick story, everybody. I have a lot of texts. Doug Schoenfeld, the owner of Schoenfeld Headers, the largest header maker in America for dirt cars. This is Doug's quick story. My first time to Daytona in 1969, stood in the infield on top of Steve Peterson's truck. First car I remember was the number 71 Bobby Isaacs Superbird. I was at Daytona with you, Herman, when Rusty crashed on the Brack Straight. There was mud in every crevice of the car. Their most memorable rain delay was not NASCAR, but with you in Fort Wayne, Indiana. It was cool to see Trump pacing the field and on pit road talking to the drivers today. Wish I had more time to talk to you at Volusia. So everybody, I'm reading off. This is something new. I'm reading off some very popular people that text me. I'm going to voice activation back.
How about this? I'll read. Okay, I'll read.
We are live on
here.
Kenny Wallace on YouTube. Thank you for your text. That's what we do. Okay, go ahead.
I love it. Okay, so Game Nerd says, this is his opinion. He says, that was not a race. It was a wreck fest. I feel like it was a pretty good mix, right? I mean, look, it's Daytona. You don't want a couple wrecks. I mean, at the end, okay, was there one too many? But I feel like it was kind of the right amount for the Daytona 500.
Okay, who said that, Gene?
Game Nerd.
Okay, Game, listen. I love you. Game Nerd, I love you, and I'm very glad you're on here. That is so old. Find something new. Do you remember Tony Stewart's quote? Let's turn them around backwards. See how many cars we can wreck. Let's wreck the whole field. Game Nerd, I love you, and I'm so happy you're on here. They're going to wreck. And NASCAR don't make them wreck. They wreck. The drivers wreck themselves. So, Game Nerd, I understand that your driver wrecked out. When anybody says something like that, so Game Nerd, respond. Who was your driver? Guarantee you he wrecked, because that's the way it always goes, right? So, and you're going to lie for a comeback, but that's okay, Game Nerd. I love you. This is Daytona and this is Talladega. The drivers wreck themselves. They run into each other. NASCAR doesn't do that. There's a gas, there's a brake, and it is the environment. I did it my whole life. And I used to say, tell me when there's 10 to go. And, buddy, I'd start pushing people harder. My goal was like the great Dick Trickle taught me. You must first finish to finish first. So I didn't believe in wrecking out early. I didn't have an ego. I once asked my team, Charlie, I said, hey, do you guys want me to run up front about halfway through and wreck out? Or do you want me to, have a chance to win the race? I've had some teams say, go ahead and wreck out. We just want you up front. It's like, oh my God, you're not running for a percentage. Because me, I was getting like 30, 40% of the earnings. I'm like, I want to be there at the end. so I have a chance to win. But you get some of these egotistic crew members, they're like, we don't care, So they don't wreck until the end. They only wreck early when it's a mistake. At the end, they're ready to wreck. They know they're going to wreck. So that's super speedway racing. That is an old saying, and I wish people would quit saying that. It's like a repeat.
Yeah, and like you said, it's super speedway racing. This isn't going to happen at every track, and I feel like people by now, you're going to get this at Daytona and Talladega, and even to a lesser extent, but pretty much also Atlanta now. I think what makes it so exciting is the fact that you really have no freaking idea who's going to win, right? Like, and at smaller tracks, short tracks, and it's good that at different tracks, right, like the best car wins. As a fan, I think you want to see that sometimes. You want to see a dominant car, or you want to see the best car win. But at this point, we know what super speedway racing is, and to me, that's the freaking excitement. Is when you're sitting there 5 to go, and then there's that wreck, and then there's the wreck on the final lap. You had no freaking clue who was going to win. Like, when you saw that red car take the lead, I'm like, who is that? Is that Corey LaJoie? Oh my God, William freaking Byron. Where the hell did he come from? Like, that's the excitement. You had no idea who's going to come out of that pile of cars to win.
Charlie, I couldn't have said it better. There's so many people in America that want the little guy to win, because their life, they struggle, right? So, we all want the little guy to do good. I do. I want the little guy to do good. I do. Okay? Let's make that saying. That's that. But the bottom line is, this is the race that the little guy can do good, right? Corey LaJoie's up there. Drivers that, don't have the money, but their cars are equal. So this should be the race that the people like, where their little guy, this is the race where they show up. They're not going to have a chance at any other track, because it's about engineers. But this is everybody listen to me. This is the one race, Daytona and Talladega. So many of you want the little guy to do good because you don't have much money. I don't got much money, so I want the little guy to do good. I'm always pulling for the underdog. This is your race. Charlie, you're exactly right.
It was just cool too. It's cool to see the storylines. It's funny because after every restart, after every wreck, I would still see Austin Cindric right there with the chance to win. And you're thinking, after all this, and I like Austin Cindric, nothing against him, but he's kind of boring, right? And you're thinking, is there going to be another race where all of a sudden just Austin Cindric with a really fast car wins in kind of a boring fashion? But with each wreck, it's like, okay, then all of a sudden Kyle Busch is near the front. Okay, can Kyle Busch win it in his 20th try? And then he gets wiped out. And then you're like, oh, there's Denny Hamlin. Could Denny Hamlin win his 4th Daytona 500? To me, that's the fun of it, is after every wreck, there's brand new storylines after every wreck.
Charlie, I couldn't have said it better, because you go back to the, they call them the duels now, the dual 150. Nobody was mad about the caution flag falling. They were mad that 43, we said it before, Richard Petty was the last person to win at Daytona, 1977. I was bummed out. I was just bummed out. The people went friggin' nuts. They went bat crazy. I'm trying to make it where you don't have to beat this out, Charlie.
We're live. We're live. You can just say it.
What's that?
We're live. I can't bleep you. You can just say it.
Well, yeah, that was, so it goes all the way back to Thursday night. So many storylines, they did the right thing. They threw the caution flag, whatever. Are they consistent? No, they're not consistent with it. I am glad they made that call right there. I'm glad they let the Daytona 500 finish, because everybody was, it was the way it was. What'd he say right there, Charlie? I like that's real long. What'd he say?
Yeah, we're getting some super chat, so we appreciate that.
Thank you,
Brown
guys.
says, it's obviously a great accomplishment to win 2 500s for William, but we've seen this show from him before. Strong start, bland finish by the end of the season. He needs to win the championship soon. Well, he did get to the championship last year, but he did start out hot and then kind of had a cold spell throughout the summer last year. William
Okay,
Byron.
let me say this, Matthew. Valid point. But you and I are sitting on the couch. That's like telling Dan Marino he was not a very good quarterback since he didn't win the Super Bowl. That's like telling Kyle Busch, Kyle, you haven't won the Daytona 500, so your career's not complete. Hold on, I'm on a roll here. That's like telling Rusty Wallace, Rusty, you never won the Daytona 500, so your career's not complete. This is life, Matthew, and this is competition. There's an old Rolling Stone song. You can't always get what you want, huh? But if you try real hard, you know the rest. So I understand you, but I'm not going to go there. William is he's won a lot of cup races, and he's a 2-time Daytona 500 winner under green flag. Like, he won the last one straight up. He was given this one, that's fine. But he didn't wreck out, and he was there. And like I said, you must first finish to finish first. So I hear you, Matthew, but I'm not going to go there because Mark Martin didn't win a championship. Mark Martin did not win a championship. Dale Earnhardt Jr., we can play that game all day long. There are several drivers in the NASCAR Hall of Fame that did not win at all, but they showed up. Dale Jr. didn't come, he didn't win a championship. Rusty did, but didn't win a date. You see what I mean? You can go any way you want. You can go any way you want. It's like the great Dick Trickle told me, as long as you can justify it. I would never in a million years go, well, William Byron never won a championship. I'm going to go, that son of a booger won back-to-back Daytona 500s. That's incredible. The first one he flat out won. The second one he was there at the finish. So, yeah, but I hear you. That's good. That's good AM debate talk.
Yeah. So thank you to Matthew Brown. Thank you to Noah's Athletics. Thank you to David Bell. Thank you to Gino. Gino also asked Herm. Let's see. I'll bring it back up. Gino. Hey, Kenny. Nice to see you. Why are so many cars flipping upside down? Say hi to Mike for me. He is a true gentleman.
So thank you. Mike is in L.A. I don't know. I do know why. I almost feel like Brother Mike wanted to get away. So Mike's out there. Kevin Gundaker. What's he want here? Could you get a hold of Michael Walter for me and ask him to call me? I want to talk to him about serving beer at Tri-City Speedway. And Granite City. Hold on.
All right.
Kevin, period. I will tell him. And I will get you his number. Period. We are live on Kenny Wallace YouTube show right now. And I just gave you a shout out. Okay, I heard you, but I forgot what you said.
Gino said, say hi to Mike.
Yeah.
I'll bring it back up. But also their question was about cars flipping.
Yeah. Okay. Here's what I say, Gino. They did everything they could do to put downforce on the car, push the car down. But they forgot about the car turning upside down. You know what I mean? So, I call it a turtle shell. Austin Harris just said, oh, Austin, can you tell Dale Jr. I said hi? Hi, Austin. Love you, buddy.
What's up, Austin?
Yeah. So those cars are turtle shell bottoms. They don't do good when they flip over. And I think it's a deal, Charlie, where what's going on is not supposed to happen. They put these cars through all these, tests. And like that deal tonight, he ramped. Now, I'll tell you what, boy, good memory. I got a good memory. The last time I saw that was turn 2 in Michigan last year. Corey LaJoy, right front, ramped on somebody's left rear. It did happen. We got to go back to the Michigan replay, turn 2. But I don't know if it's because, when you look at the front of those cars, they kind of got, hold on. Let's take Earnhardt's car here. Here's what I've noticed. on the new cars, they got a little bit of a flare that comes out right here. A flare.
Mm-hmm.
Right here. I think what happens is the tire really does stick out a little bit, but the plastic body covers it. And when it runs into another car, that plastic gives away, is what's going on. Because when I look at those cars, they look cool. Got those little flares that come out. But if you smash those flares in, you run right into the tire, the right front tire. And now these cars are ramping. Now, I'm just saying, I think that's what's happening.
There's that 3 car. That's a pretty looking car right there.
Oh, yeah.
It's a beauty.
Yeah, we got some good stuff here. Everybody talks about. We got our Dick Trickle. I just say that the one that we're going to have to calm down right now is, I want to say this, everybody. This is my wish. We've just come off of 2 of the best starts in NASCAR in 20 years. Don't play that game where it was a wreck fest. They're all wreck fests. Don't play that game where they should have thrown the caution. So what? If they throw the caution, you still got the same winner. So don't do that. And I encourage you to don't do that, because the racing is good. Here, we've had Mark Martin right here. Go back and look at Mark Martin on Kenny Conversation. And Charlie, I know you remember what Mark said. You want to repeat what Mark said? Somebody said,
I remember he said something like, "This is the best racing in history." In history. Yes.
He said, but I don't like the car.
Right.
Well,
that's right. And we know he hates the number placement.
Yeah. And, because Mark and myself, Charlie, we're mechanically inclined. This car is very hard to work on. But it is the best racing. And all we're doing nowadays is we've got this social media. And whenever somebody's car gets wrecked out, people lose their damn minds. So, yeah. All right. What else we got, Charlie?
Susan says, it was awesome. Bring on the rest of the season. Let's get back to just cheering on our favorites with a bunch of hearts. I think, yeah, thank you, Susan. I thought what was interesting, too, at the end, once you're seeing William Byron win, it's just funny sometimes how, because everybody talks about Hendrick, as they should. Hendrick is running the show for several years. They're always really, really good. And Chase Elliott basically has the best car wire to wire at the Clash and wins. And then this race tonight, all that you see, all that we talk about is Penske. And then at the end, you start thinking, oh, there's a bunch of Toyotas. Remember at the end there, they did it on the broadcast. They said 5 of the top 8 at the end, Toyota cars. So you're thinking, okay, after talking about Penske for the whole race, is a Toyota going to sneak in there and win? And then when it's all said and done, Hendrick again, that we didn't talk about the whole freaking race, basically gets the win.
You are so good at your job, because you made my brain think. Early in that rain delay, they were interviewing Brad Keselowski. Brad Keselowski said something that made me go, Brad said, we don't have enough cars to be strong on the speedways. And the reason we brought Ryan Preece is that way we have more cars in our team to have a chance to go up front. So, you're sitting there with Brad Keselowski, Chris Buescher. That was it. Only 2. Now they got a third one. That blew me away, for Brad to come out during the rain delay live on Fox and say the reason we started a third car is so we could have more chances. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
That's I never thought about that, because I didn't think people would have enough money. Hey, let's start another car so we have a better shot at winning. It's going to cost you about $15 million, right? But, they find the damn money somewhere. You know what I mean? They find the damn money somewhere. And so my point is this. That's what Rick Hendrick did. He got 4 cars. And then if you want to add Justin Allgaier in there, you got 5 cars, right? So there's Rick Hendrick with 5 opportunities to win the Daytona 500. So you brought up a point and didn't even know you brought it up. And I remember that during the rain delay. And I thought I said, okay, that's smart. But man, just to start another car to have a shot at winning more races, that's $15-20 million investment. Because these cars, I ask everybody, Charlie, you buy the car, you put the motor in, these cars are pushing $500,000 each. So really interesting,
Okay, so NJ Vinny says Cletus made Daytona. Now I know we're going back here to yesterday, but I got to say this, Herm. I had heard of Cletus McFarland, right? And I knew about the YouTube channel. I knew about flying the helicopters with Greg Biffle, and I knew he had a big following, right? 4.1 million subscribers on YouTube. Herm, yeah. I could not believe we posted a couple videos. You did a little quick 3-minute video or whatever. I cut a video out of our live stream from yesterday. I could not believe the views on those videos. Like, I knew the dude was popular. I had no freaking idea how popular that dude was and how many people, not even just young people, Herm. I know he's like 30 years old, 29. I had dudes who were 70 years old in the comments going, I used to love NASCAR. I haven't watched NASCAR in 15 years. I watched the freaking ARCA race because of Cletus McFarland.
Charlie, YouTube is a phenomenon, and I've learned that. It's no secret how honest I am. I'm brutally honest. I don't think I get myself in trouble, but I think it makes people understand. I'm going to say what I'm going to say because you can go to YouTube right now. There's a YouTube push 1320. Cletus, there's a 30-minute show out there. Cletus, and he's on 1320. That's how he got his start. 1320 on YouTube was the YouTube page that got Cletus started, Garrett Mitchell. His story is phenomenal, but I want to back up and say this. We're not going to tell everybody the figure, but it's a lot. We do good. Did you ever think, Charlie, that you would make a living doing this with me?
I didn't. I mean, I knew YouTube before I started with you. I was doing some stuff with Cardinals baseball, and I knew there was a tremendous opportunity to have YouTube be a media network, basically, which we've created for you. When I called you on that Sunday and we started doing videos, whatever it was the next day, it was now over 3 years ago. No, I had no idea it would grow this quickly into, I mean, it's not just a full-time job for me. It's essentially your full-time job. This is like a legit business. It's a legit media network, and it's pretty damn impressive.
So we have JEGS that sponsors this show. We have Sunoco that sponsors Coffee with Kenny. We have Kenny Conversation. We have the Kenny Wallace Show. Now, right now, we call this the Kenny Wallace Show. Then we have Kenny Conversation, where we interview the greatest athletes in the world. Then we have Coffee with Kenny. That's 3 shows right there. Then, Dale Jr. called us with Mike Davis, and they said, would you please give us your Kenny Conversation content? And would you start Herman Schrader? Now we've got all these shows. You all love it. We appreciate you. Okay, now let's go to Garrett Mitchell. Garrett Mitchell tells this incredible story where he just wants to be part of this group, 1320. So we call ourselves Kenny Wallace YouTube Show. You go to 1320, Charlie, push it in on YouTube. They got 3.6 million subscribers. Garrett Mitchell's up to 4.1 now. But Garrett, Cletus McFarland, he says in his 30-minute special, it's a 30-minute special to all of us how he got started. And his story has got 1.1 million views. I watched it all last night. He's Garrett Mitchell, but he did one little video, and he did like this. I'll tell you one thing right now, Earnhardt's my man. I liked his daddy. And he went full redneck. And his buddy that was working the camera posted it. And he said he was going to make his name something, but the guy said, you're going to be Cletus McFarland. Because Cletus, it's like WWE. It's a show. So everybody knows the real everybody knows the real Garrett Mitchell. He's a real serious guy, kind of like this. But there's something about creating a character. He is so damn funny. And he says all the funny stuff. And here's the reason he's got so many viewers. Everybody's got a car. Everything he does is about a passenger car, about drag racing. So see, Charlie, we'll never get there because what we do, we're racing. What Cletus does is he creates this character, and he's got like an old drag car. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so everything he does is he relates with everybody. Everybody else is like, I got a car. You know, it's outlaw drag racing on the streets. It's illegal. Then he tells this story where he borrowed money from. Now, here's the other little hidden secret. Garrett's mom and dad are pretty wealthy, and that's on the down low. But Garrett made it on his own, and they wanted him to go to law school, and Cletus was going to law school, and he found himself in law school found himself on Instagram and Facebook. He goes, I can make a living at this, just like you did, Charlie. So here's Cletus McFarland finds himself in law school because that's what his mom and dad want him to do. And he's like, I see how much money 1320's making. I can do this. And he tells his dad, he goes, Dad, I love you. And this is in the story. Somebody sent me the story last night. I watched it all. I watched all 30 minutes. So he did it on his own. So he takes all this money that he makes. He goes down and he buys Bradenton down there, I think in DeSoto somewhere, and calls it, what's he call it, everybody?
The Freedom Factory.
Freedom Factory. They pick all the weeds out. I've raced that track. I've run that track. And he turned it into a show. And now he says it's making so much money. He was brave. He's the American dream.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you what, to fly a helicopter, you got to be pretty damn good. So, yeah, what's NJ saying here?
Okay. NJ Vinny says about Cletus, he does much more than that. He does RC airplanes. He had to hold the door closed on his house during the hurricane. Right.
And he records that.
Yeah.
You know, Charlie, I used to grab my phone and do videos when I was pooping in porta potties. Embarrassing, but they ate it up. They loved it. Hi, Charlie. Come here, baby. Come on. Come on. Yeah, Poppy's live on TV. You can say hi to everybody. Come on in. You spending the night with me? Come here. Look here. There's thousands of people watching. Say hi.
Hi.
Come here. Say hi.
Hi.
What's your name?
Charlotte.
What's your nickname?
Lottie.
And there's my daughter, Brandy. Come on, Brandy. We're live. My family. What are you all doing here this late at night? Come on, kids. Come on. Come on. Look here. Say hi. Come on up here.
Aw.
Come on. Get in there. Say hi.
Hi.
Come on, Jet.
Hi.
Oh, they didn't
Hi.
say your face good enough. Come on. Get in there.
Hi.
Okay, and one more, Mila.
Hi.
Let them see your face better. There's Mila.
Aw.
And then my daughter, Brandy. Brandy don't want to be on TV. Kim, they're all watching us. But yeah, Charlie, the story of Cletus McFarland is wonderful. And he relates to everybody because he uses normal cars. And just like you said, you got to be good to fly a helicopter. And I flew with Rusty in those helicopters. And those things are no joke. They're very dangerous. Cletus, Garrett is very smart. And I think another reason it works is everybody knows he's playing. But the stuff's real. He knows it's real too. So I can relate. I love him. Yeah, Charlie.
Right.
Hold on, one more thing. I want to relate with you. I post a 3-minute observation of Cletus McFarland on X. Did you see how many views I got?
Okay, so hold on a second, because I put that on YouTube. I don't know if you knew that. How many views did it get on X?
It's over 150,000 views on X.
Okay, get this.
My 3-minute observation.
So I took that. So yesterday, Kenny and I, for everybody, we did a live show basically around lunchtime. There were so many storylines from Daytona. And then we talked about Cletus a little bit, but then you did kind of a coffee with Kenny basically on the couch. and I missed it because the
It was
day was
late at
going
night.
on.
I should have called you.
Well, no, it's all good. I think, whatever time it was, and I'm doing stuff with my family, and then I see it. I go, oh, so I put it on late, and I just put it on YouTube, and I kind of walk away, not because if you do YouTube a long time, you usually kind of know how a video is going to do. We had
Yeah.
never really talked about Cletus McFarland, so I had no clue. So I leave my computer, I come back with it. I was like, I could not believe how many views it got. So that 3-minute video, whatever it is, has 166,000 views on YouTube. And I couldn't believe it. Again, that's why I said I knew this dude was popular. I never knew he was that popular. It's freaking amazing.
Unbelievable. I'm looking at it right now. That is insane. Well, I texted the Biff. I texted Greg Biffle. Did we did a Kenny conversation with Greg Biffle, didn't we?
We did one before the helicopter stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the Biff texts me all the time. And boy, when the Biff texts me, when Greg Biffle texts me, I answer. He needed some shocks for his, what do they call those cars they run? Those old Mustangs, or
are they Crown Victorias?
Yeah. So Cletus McFarland, Garrett Mitchell, they created this. I wanted to buy a Crown Victoria just to drive around town. Well, so Biffle, he's got a little dirt track out in the middle of the woods up there in North Carolina, and the Biff calls me. He goes, Herman, I need to get some shocks. So now these guys, they're getting competitive. They just couldn't run this fun race. So I got Greg Biffle hooked up with my buddies at Fox Shocks. So the Biff, I'm going to reach out to Biff one more time and say, hey, I bet Cletus will let me interview him. And I got great questions to ask him.
All right, we got some more super thanks. We got Derek Adams says Trump is the greatest. Obviously, Donald Trump was there at the beginning.
He did a good job.
Yeah,
Trump did a good job.
JJ Productions says, I came to this show because of Cletus, and I find Charlie, who I follow on X, for Cardinals baseball updates. Sick. How about that?
I love it.
Mr. Sadie says, love from Arnold, Missouri, Bubba. They moved our local house. Now you can barely get in there unless you're Kenny Wallace. LOL.
I'm going to tell you what. I don't go to the local house because I think it's stupid. I get mad. Like, I love the local house. They know me. And I go in the local house and I say, I'll take the grilled buffalo chicken wrap with honey mustard because I don't like that hot sauce. Charlie, they moved it to where 51 restaurant used to be across from Walmart. Beautiful restaurant. You would think they're giving food away. It's worse than Texas Roadhouse. You can't even start to get in. And I'm not dealing with that crap. There's no restaurant. Okay, I'm glad you all do it. I'm not going to do it. You know what I do? I go around the corner to Mott Pizza, and I get a sausage pepperoni pizza and nice little salad. I love the local house. I think it's awesome, but I'm just not going to waller and all that. I mean, it's a restaurant, everybody. I mean, I know what he's saying. And the local house is killing it, and I'm excited. But they do that Texas Roadhouse thing where everybody gets in. I got to eat. I'm like, people, quit breathing on me. You're all like this. You know me, when I get pissed, I go on a tangent.
I love it. And then how about this one? Red Hawk, another St. Louis area, from Great Above in Oakville, Missouri. How do you feel about Herbst's chances for this season? Thought he had a solid run with the great save to end it. Riley Herbst in his first year Cup with 2311 Racing. One of the monster guys.
Well, first of all, let's put something to bed. I don't want to hear it because I know everybody's already going to start. He's got money. You better have money. So put that to the side. Okay. I don't want to hear about it. He's got money. His family owns 88 gas stations out on the West Coast. Terrible Herbst. I don't want to hear it. He can drive the car. It's one thing if you got money and you can't drive. But he's a good kid and he can drive, and he just showed you. He was there at the end of the Daytona 500. So, and let's see here. We said it, but he ends up finishing. Herbst got 16th, but he was, he's pushing him there at the end. Everybody wrecked out at the end there. So, what do we got, Charlie? I think we got about 7 more minutes, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, we got 1,200 people watching live right now. We've had over 10,000 people watching this post-race live Daytona 500 show. So it's fun too. I think it's cool. NASCAR's season is so unique. Obviously, at the end with Phoenix is so hype, but the way that they kick it off with Daytona, I know it used to be speed weeks and it was a couple weeks, but still, if you start with qualifying on Wednesday, you're getting 5 solid days of racing, and you're really building up people to know that NASCAR is back, right? And maybe everybody didn't love the way tonight's race finished. I thought it was great, and I just thought it was typical Daytona 500 super speedway racing. So I thought it was cool.
The race was awesome, Charlie. It's this new era of my driver wrecked out. I hate speed. We all watched. Okay, let me say this about speed weeks. A lot of us are old, okay, and we remember speed weeks when they would run the Bud Shootout, right? And we would run that Bud Shootout on a Saturday or Sunday the week before, and we would qualify, and we would practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Well, we took Monday off, but there was a time that we were at Daytona literally on track, Friday to Friday, 7, 8 straight days. Then we'd run the race. Then, Charlie, what happened is they realized that our now follow my storyline here, then I'm going to talk about right now. The reason speed weeks got dwindled, got smaller, was they realized that the people couldn't spend 8-9 days there anymore. Times changed. Our sport fell mightily. Remember, we were putting 250,000 people in the grandstands. Then we admit it. NASCAR fell. It fell 70%. So when NASCAR fell, we had to readjust. We're like, okay, we can't do speed weeks 11 straight days anymore because the sport's not as popular as it used to be. See, we got no problem admitting that our sport is not as big as it used to be. But I tell you what, there's still 100,000 people in the grandstands. There's still 60,000 people at each race. So when they realized we fell mightily, they said, okay, let's take speed weeks and let's bring everybody in on, we started qualifying on Wednesday. So we qualify Wednesday. We got, the duels on Thursday. We got the truck race on Friday. Xfinity and ARCA. We're still 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
We're still 5 days. Now, the reason I call it speed weeks is because I went down January 30th and ran my very first dirt race. I ran 9 out of 10 straight nights. And there's racing all around Daytona. You got New Smyrna. You got Volusia. You got Ocala. All these dirt tracks, Charlie. So when you bring in New Smyrna, the dirt tracks, and Daytona, it's speed weeks. It's still speed weeks to me, minus 6 days at the big track. So it's still awesome, and I love it. And hopefully I explained to everybody why we aren't at Daytona 8-10 days anymore.
Yeah, somebody actually said basically what you just said. MBR says, yeah, Speed Weeks got expensive back in 01, 02, and no Airbnb. 8 days at Adams Mark was ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, so we adjusted times. Charlie, when you know where you're at, for example, I'm always honest. My brother Rusty's great. He's, and I love him. People they think it's going to bother me or something. Oh, you're riding your brother's coattail. I'm like, right. I love my brother. But it's weird how some people think things are bad and like it's demoralizing. It is not demoralizing to me that Daytona has had to go down to 6 days. We just had to, what's my new phrase, Charlie? Right size.
Right size.
This is the era we are in. I mean, NASCAR's nothing like it used to be. The NFL is nothing like it used to be. Now those helmets are better. I mean, look at baseball, Charlie. They're radioing each other. They hardly do hand signals. they got to, they're telling each other what pitch to throw.
PitchCom, yeah.
Everything's different. Everything. So our days, our glory days are over, but we're still doing good. And we're still doing good.
I love it. You know what? You said we're still doing good right as we hit exactly on an hour. I think we should end on that. What do you think?
I think so, Charlie. I'd like you to edit this up, and I'd like to know if you will maybe put that caution thing out, because I see a couple people, not many. They're not beating it like a dead horse, like Larry Mack say. But I like the way I explained why it was okay. Because if they would have thrown the caution, the finish still would have been the same.
Yeah.
All right.
I love it. Yeah, people, the second we're done, they can also go back and watch this as a recorded video. And I'm also going to put it on podcast as well. And speaking of podcast, yourself, Ken Schrader, will record Herman Schrader tomorrow, which will come out on Wednesday.
Yeah, I think tomorrow it's going to be pretty easy content.
Yeah.
We record it. I mean, it's going to be all Daytona. We'll slide some dirt racing in there and a joke, what Schrader's been up to. He drove back, I know, Thursday. So, all right, Charlie.
All right, Herm, appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Here, we got one more. We got one more super thanks here. I'll put it up there. It's humming along. Says, now we just need Cletus racing NASCAR at the Rock. I'm telling you, everybody loves Cletus. So thank you for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe if you haven't already. Got almost 1,000 people still watching. Over 10,000 people have watched this post-race show. NASCAR's here. Let's see, one more I'll put up. MBR, good show. Thanks, Charlie and Kenny. Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Oh, see, I hit the wrong one. I can't end. Here we go. Good times. There we go. Good times, Jimmy V. See you, everybody.
See you later, everybody.
Herm, we'll see you. End stream.